What is up, good people, and welcome to the All Basketball Podcast, where we just don't discuss basketball. We like to debate basketball. And I'm your host, Maurice Dixon, coming to you on Thursday night. We got the play-in for the final spot in the Eastern Conference between the Indiana Pacers and Washington Wizards. Going to see who secures that eighth seed to play the Sixers. We're going to be talking a little about that, making probably a short prediction since that game is going to be underway soon, but mostly talking about most of the matchups that are set in the playoffs on both sides of the conference. Some intriguing matchups, some more intriguing than others, but we'll see how it all plays out. They all have to get out there and play. But James, what are you expecting tonight from the Wizards and Pacers game? Could be gritty. Indiana, short on bodies, but they whacked Charlotte. I mean, surprisingly.
Oh, they got Brogdon back, which is huge. So I expect, even though Washington's swept Indiana and Westbrook averaged monster numbers, he averaged like 20-some points, 18 rebounds, and 20 assists. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain type numbers, against Indiana. But I I like Indiana. They play hard. I like Sabonis down low. Like I said, Brogdon back, Karis LeVert is out. But I think they got enough players, and Washington doesn't have quite as many, and they have a one-leg bandit in Bradley Beal. So Westbrook is gonna give me everything he got. I already know that. But even with all that, I think it's gonna be a close game, and this game can go either way. Indiana can win, Washington can win. It's gonna come down to the second half turnovers. I believe second half turnovers are gonna determine the outcome of this game.
That's good points. What do you think happened to the Wizards? They came back against Boston. I mean, I know Tatum went off in that last game, and then people were saying just something wasn't right with Westbrook and Bill. They just weren't off. What did you see?
Well, Bill, he's not 100% clearly, so he can't give you everything he normally can. And I mean, Westbrook was giving these guys dimes, man. And when you shoot 3 for 21 from the 3-point line, when he's dropping it in Alex Lynn's hands in the paint, and Alex Lynn can't catch it or he can't lay it up. Robin Lopez can't lay it up. I mean, I don't know what you're supposed to do with that. The whole team played as if they didn't really want to play Brooklyn, as if they would prefer to take their chances with the Philadelphia 76ers or just go to the lottery and go from next year. Because I think with the way Washington played down the stretch, I think the whole organization, the fan base, the ownership, I think everybody has the confidence that if this team can stay healthy next year and add a couple pieces, this team can make a legitimate run with those two guards that they have.
Interesting. I guess Thomas Bryant come back. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how.
Hachimura will be a year develop.
Yeah,
I like him, and you'll get we'll see what they do in free agency in the draft.
I like what Gafford brings to the table. Go to the hole strong. Always looking to dunk. That's always a positive. Most of these big guys out here just shooting floaters today, man. They get kind of aggravating.
Right, right.
Big guys going up so soft in the lane. But Frank, Indiana, Washington night, do or die. How you looking at that play in?
I'd have to agree with James on this one. I think, especially from what I saw from Washington the other night against Boston, like you just mentioned, Bill and Westbrook seemed disengaged. I know Bill with the hamstring. I just feel like if Bill was 100% healthy, I'd definitely pick Washington. But hamstring is really hard to play through effectively, even for the toughest minded players. So, the combination of that and Westbrook, I'm like James saying, you're putting him in the right spots. So they just weren't making shots, and his inability to shoot consistently, I think is going to be a problem. And I just I think Sabonis is going to have another big game. I expect Brogdon to do his thing. Minus LeVert, I think it might be close towards the end, but I expect Indiana to pull it out, just mostly based on how they handled Charlotte and, just Washington just seemed like they just didn't want to be there against Boston. So, yeah, I mean, I think Washington, is admirable. They came back, towards the end of the season, got hot, and they were doing great. But once Bill went down, I just feel like he's such an integral part to a lot of things they do. Without him being 100%, I don't see them unless Westbrook has some virtuoso game, having 30, 20, and 20 or something like that, which he could do. I think that's really their only chance to win tonight, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's going. We'll see if he'll be able to get a lot of those. I mean, I know he's gonna get rebounds, but Sabonis gets rebounds too, and I don't think Turner's playing. I guess Sabonis kind of may just play center for them, so they don't really have two big guys, and the other guys I can't call their names. They had just thrown guys out there last time. I mean, they dudes were just dunking and like no names. Like who are these guys shining? But Ian, what you got in the Indiana Washington matchup?
Do I really have to watch this game tonight? No, to be honest, I think Washington should win just based on the fact that it's a home game for them, and I think Westbrook is gonna come in big for them. I think he's got enough watching guys miss open layups and miss wide open threes. He's gonna take over himself. And you might mess around and see one of those big 40-point, 20 rebound, 15 assist games out of him. Because I don't expect Beal to give us a 30-point game because of the injury itself. But yeah, I think Indiana, nice season, too many injuries. Westbrook's gonna pull it out for them, for Washington, and they'll be playing in Philly.
Oh, y'all got a lot of faith in Westbrook in the one game scenario. Hope it's not close. Hope it's not close.
I always got faith in Westbrook. It'd be the other guy who I'd be concerned about. If Bradley Beal was healthy, there's no doubt in my mind Washington to win this game. But he's not healthy. He like he said, he's the one-legged bandit. So I just hope he can give me something to help Westbrook, because Westbrook, he gonna do his part. Like I said, it ain't really never Westbrook's fault when his teams lose. It always be that other guy.
Okay. We'll let you believe that.
I don't never fault the guy that give me 180%, and then the other guy who give me 90, 85%, and then it ain't his fault somehow. Westbrook score 45 and he go 1 for 12 with 5 points, but it's Westbrook's fault. I just don't buy that math. I do my math a little bit different.
Westbrook got knowing to hone it in. He seems like he hasn't learned that skill.
You can't hone it in when your sidekick hurt or your sidekick only, throwing shots off the side of the backboard. You got to pull out everything you got.
Hey, against Portland, Paul George played well before Lillard hit that shot. Now he played well that game.
How many finals Paul George been to?
One less than Westbrook.
Okay, but he that's 0. Yeah, Westbrook been to the finals though. Westbrook led the team to the finals.
Oh, okay.
Hey, I say this. I always find it funny that we dog out guys for not having effort, but here it is with Westbrook. We clown him for not, I guess, in your eyes, producing, but we don't give him the credit for the effort itself.
Well, I'm fine with effort, but when you can't control effort, that's a problem.
You mean the man in 4 of the last 5 years of every triple double.
That's great.
Now these triple doubles aren't just stat padding. No, they need these triple doubles. They win the most of the games that he has a triple double. His teams win. These triple doubles
it's about 75%. They win 70% of their games.
Right. That's a lot of percentage. That's a high percentage of wins. When a guy does what he does on a nightly basis, that he's contributing to winning every night. He said, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win. If I got a rebound, if I got assist, if I got to play defense, if I got to take the charge, if I got to get on the floor, if you need me to score, whatever it is you need me to do, I'm gonna do my best to win this game. And if I got everybody on my team giving me that same effort, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna win that game. Unless the other team is just way more talented than my team.
And that's what usually happens. People are more talented. They know how to maximize their
Right.
talent and think
All right.
through it.
And okay, if that's the case, then let's just say Westbrook loses to teams that are better than his team. Not Westbrook is the reason why. No, it ain't Westbrook. He giving all his all. The other team was just better in most situations. You know, that's just what it comes down to.
no, I think it's that stuff works in the regular season, but he's proven to not adjust in the playoffs. That's why he hasn't advanced, but so far on his own.
Who advances on their own? Outside of the great LeBron James. Exclude him.
Dame Lillard advanced somewhat
Where
on
he
his
advanced
own.
to? When?
To at least to the second round, they got to the conference finals.
On his own, he ain't got McCollum. McCollum went out there. McCollum count.
No, I'm saying when you say, well, right, nobody advances on their own, but
right. Except LeBron.
No, that's not true either.
But outside of him, but he a whole nother. We ain't gonna count him. But outside, you're right. Nobody goes on their own. You're right. Stealth the closest thing. That's why he's the second best player in basketball.
I mean, you need a second fiddle guy, but
right,
the guy handling the ball has to know how to play the game the right way, when to make the right decisions, when to do this, when to do that, when to hold it in. And he don't get that.
Well, when you the only guy out there, sometimes those decisions are very difficult to make. When your options is passing to Raul Neto or going to the hole for this shot.
Well, he's not the only guy. I mean, Bill can go off for 40, but they don't mean they're gonna win. Dude is what, 8 and 20 something when he scores over 40. So
right. So Bill has to empty calories. Because Westbrook, when he get a triple-double, they win.
Not in the playoffs. I would like to see that in the playoffs.
Well,
if he's able to get one, I like to see that playoff.
That's the point. We would like to see him get one in the playoffs. That's what we wait for Westbrook. You know, he don't usually get them in the playoffs. And that's something that, you know, we want to see. I mean, but Bill got to give me something. Alex Lynn got to give me something. If he dropping it in your lap in the paint, you 7 feet, turn around and put it in the goal.
I think with him it's just defense, man. I don't think it's offense is keeping up. It's defense. I mean, it's making the right stops. And now Westbrook, all that effort you talk about, when his man go by him, he not rotating or doing this and that to recover. He's just like, oh, I'm about to play.
If you look at that roster, you look at that team, they don't have any defensive stoppers. They're not a good defensive team. Westbrook probably the best defensive player, and he's not a great defensive player, but he plays hard. So he gambles a lot. Westbrook allows his man to go bound so he can try to rip him from behind. He'll rip down from behind. And you look at last game, he got about 3 or 4 steals that way. Or he caused 3 or 4 loose balls just playing that way. He's playing hard on both ends of the floor. I mean,
that's bad defense. No, that's bad defense. Coaches,
if you get the steal. Now if you get the steal, it ain't.
Basketball one-on-one, you never reach.
On, man.
That's the worst defense ever.
I seen them man go at AD straight up.
Well, maybe
and do a good job. Guard AD straight up.
Well, I mean, I assume Westbrook is pretty strong. I mean, if Anthony Davis had the post moves, he could destroy him.
Anthony Davis has post move, but AD don't got the heart that Westbrook got.
No, Anthony Davis, he fade away with little guys on him. That's his problem.
I'm saying he don't got the heart that Westbrook got. If AD had the same heart that Westbrook had, he'll be the best player in the league. And it'll be no argument. Like LeBron would be second, and KD and all them guys, Steph would be down the list. It'll be AD if he had heart, but he don't. So.
Well, I wouldn't say he didn't have heart. He don't have the heart Westbrook got. I think he got heart though. especially last year. He showed it last year. Everybody questioned him. He played great. I mean, he ain't got Westbrook. I don't know. Many people don't have Westbrook, or how many people do have kind of hard Westbrook got? Not many.
I'm saying, now Westbrook is a killer. He the biggest killer in the game right now. Since Kobe left, it's Westbrook.
What,
He the
of
one
himself?
with
He committed suicide almost every game when it
well,
matters.
what I'm saying is, I'm saying he had that killer mentality. Like he goes out, he's trying to rip the heart out of his opponents. Now he doesn't have the ability that Kobe has to actually, he's not 6'8", 6'7", and can shoot over guy. He's 6'3", doing all. That's what's so amazing about it. He's 6'3", and he's arguably the best rebounder in the league, and he's the best assist man in the league. And he can give me 22, 23, 24, 40 points. Like nobody can do what he does. And so I'm just appreciative because in all my life of being watching basketball, I used to always think, man, I wonder how Oscar Robertson put them numbers up. How would he play? And now I got some sense of what it was to see Oscar Robertson and why we didn't see a guy like this for 50 some years. And I'm just appreciative of the talent that I get to see when I watch Westbrook. I love, like, he's my favorite player to watch because I'm watching the all-time great. I'm watching somebody put up numbers that we saw in the 40s and 50s. And we're like, how do you guys put up these numbers? Well, Westbrook is doing it now. And it's amazing. I'm in awe. I'm in awe by his skill set.
I feel you. I'll disagree to disagree, but we're gonna move on. That's good stuff though. Definitely a talent player. I'll close the book on Westbrook with this. He is a great, and I define him as the greatest dunking point guard ever. Nobody I've seen has done it better. Not Kevin Johnson. Derrick Rose had a chance, but he had too many injuries. But yeah.
Don't forget about Barron. Don't forget about Barron.
Oh yeah,
too.
Barron. Yeah, Barron's close too. Yeah.
Baron Davis was a great doctor.
Barron, yeah.
Oh,
hey, how can I forget Big Diddy?
Robert Pack too. Robert Pack.
Robert Pack.
Robert Pack got hops.
Court Kemp. But James, what do you see as the most intriguing?
Oh wow.
Oh, Frank, what do you see as the most intriguing series of this postseason that we know is as far as what's set?
That's a good question. And I think 4 or 5 in the West, the Clippers and Dallas, I think is going to be real intriguing to me. Just because of the way their seasons kind of went. Clippers were, at the top of the conference most of the year, kind of fell back. Dallas was kind of at the bottom. They kind of came up. And then, it's a rematch from last year, too. I thought it was one of the better series in the first round last year. So I think, it was a little bit of a rivalry developing between the two. And I think it's going to be a fun series. I expect it to go 6 or 7. I expect Luka to play big. Expect Kawhi to. I hope Paul George plays big. So to me, that one I think will be the most fun and most intriguing to me. And then of course, Phoenix and LA, is going to be intriguing too, just because Phoenix played great all year, number 2 seed, but yet odds makers are still favoring the Lakers to beat them. And this is the first time that's ever happened. Odds makers favoring a 7 seed over a 2 in the history of the NBA. So I think that was going to be real intriguing too, because now that they got their players back, the Lakers, let's see what they can do, and let's see if Phoenix, everything they did all season, let's see if that's who they really are, whether they were just imposters all year. So to me, those are the most intriguing to me, those two.
Okay, yeah, I think, yeah, because being honest, the Lakers really aren't a 7 seed. They just got hurt.
Yeah,
and. Yeah. Then they pretty much survived last night. It was crazy how they came out looking so bad. They came out really looking like a 7 seed until the second half.
Yeah, they did not look good at all in a lot of different aspects.
And yeah, so I guess I'm just, as far as that series, I'm hoping Phoenix pushes them to 6, but I'm expecting around 5 or 6. I would be surprised if it went 7. I know they got Chris Paul and Jay Crowder. I love those two players with playoff experience, but other than that, man, nobody's been on this level. And you playing the defending champs, you're playing seasoned vets, and they say the playoffs are just. I mean, players in the league, they've even said when they got to the playoffs, it was like, whoa, they were surprised by the intensity, how it just changed from the regular season, because it all counts for something now. It's not just some game here or there. It's playoff time. So it's something pretty serious. As far as the Clippers, what are your expectations of them? Because I'm just I was fooled last year, not fooled, but had big expectations. Then I saw this team never went to the conference finals. So I'm just like, y'all need to get to the conference finals. If you do that, I know that's not the ultimate goal, but it's a step in the right direction.
Man, as far as the Clippers, I'm torn on them because, yeah, like you said, big expectation. As soon as I found out that they got Kawhi and Paul George basically on the same day, I was like, oh, it's over. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. And then they got those other players to supplement them. And then, like you said, we all got fooled last year, came back on them. So I'm kind of torn on them. And the fact that they're, potentially resting their players, just they can, play certain matchups in the playoff. That's concerning to me. Like, you should just play, have the confidence, like we can beat whoever we're going to play kind of thing. So that's real concerning to me. Then Kawhi and Paul George, they missed a lot of games again. Whether they just wanted to take off games or whether they were legitimately hurt. Now, Paul George has played better this year, but I mean, it still remains to be seen of whether, he can really, step it up to that next level. And it's not that he can't, because we've seen him do it in Indiana, but that was a long time ago. So, it still remains to be seen. So if the Clippers, I expect them to win against Dallas. But other than, as far as that goes, I think anybody can get them after that. I felt like during the season, they should have had a better record than what they ended up having, dropping down to the 4th seed. I know they had injuries and, Kawhi wanted to load manage, all that kind of stuff. I still feel like they should have been a better team this year and last year. I felt like they should have had a better record too, given all the assortment of talent that they had. Ballmer spending any kind of resource to get, any player that they need. So I feel like they should have been better. So I'm expecting them definitely make it to the second round. But other than that, if they make it to the finals, I won't be that surprised. But if they don't make it, I won't be that surprised either.
Yes, a lot still to be shown. I think I'm starting to feel like maybe something's just really wrong with Kawhi Leonard's body. And then until he shows me, Paul George is just never going to be really a big time postseason player. He's just going to be a good regular season guy, good second fiddle, third fiddle, but he just don't have it. And hey, if you're just that guy, then you're just that guy. At least you're not a bust.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's so just perplexing to me about Paul George, because he has so much talent. I remember when he got drafted with his skill set, I was surprised he was taken so low. I mean, I know he's still a lottery pick, but I thought he would get taken a lot higher just based on his length, based on his ability to shoot and play defense. And I mean, he's had a great career. Like regular season, he's had, perennial all-star, potential Hall of Famer. It's just when you get to the playoffs, I just don't understand, but I think it's just the mental. It's all mental with him. I mean, he even said it last year. Being in the bubble, he was depressed and, was messing with his mind. Like, I mean, even if that's the case, you can't admit that, because that's like sharks smelling blood in the water. Like you can't say that. I mean, even if you felt that way, I understand being away from your family, being basically kind of like a prisoner in a sense, but you can't admit that, man. Like you just, nah.
You can't. Yeah, you just can't. I mean, I know they've been coming out more and more about guys opening up as far as DeRozan and Kevin Love about mental health, but when it comes to when you go to that level with those stakes, with those dogs and those sharks, like you said, you cannot show that kind of weakness. You gotta man up.
I think if the Clippers are going to do anything, it's going to be on Rondo. Not necessarily the way he plays, but the way he leads the team, because they're devoid of leadership. I mean, I know Ty Lue, he's a good leader, but on the floor, Rondo's going to have to put it together to me for them to have any kind of chance. He's going to have to be healthy the entire playoffs, be effective like last playoffs to me for the Clippers to have a chance.
That's a good point. Yeah, they need all I've been hearing all season is that they don't really have a good point guard. It's not Patrick Beverly. It's not really Reggie Jackson. It's kind of funny. They didn't address that issue. They didn't address that need in an era now where your point guard is, I mean, that's your bread and butter. I mean, Lillard, Curry, Westbrook, Kyrie, Trey Young.
Yeah, or
Them
even
guys are scoring.
yeah.
They putting pressure on you, and your
Yeah.
point guard just can't be. I mean, you just can't be. I mean, not that Patrick Beverly's outdated, but if they're not gonna let you be physical, I mean, he's kind of in the wrong era.
He's just a backup point guard. That's all.
Right. In a year.
He is.
He's
I
not
agree.
a starter.
I agree. I never saw Patrick Beverly as a starter either. You know, he'll give you good minutes. I see him. You give you good minutes off the bench. He'll play tough, get some steals, maybe make a few threes. But yeah, I mean, playing him as a starter and playing him in large chunks of minutes, I just feel like you don't want to do that because you're losing out on too many other areas, especially on the offensive end, even on defensive end sometimes too, with him being out there too long. You got to be real strategic with and then, you know, sometimes he'll lose his head too, and then he'll cause by being overly emotional.
Yeah, he get a lot of stupid fouls. Dude get like 3-4 fouls in the first quarter. Like, man, what are you doing?
Yeah.
James, as far as the Clippers, how you looking? What are your expectations of them?
I expect them to do what they normally do, which is fold up, choke up, play small. That's what I expect them to do. Those guys are mentally fragile, man. You know, Kawhi, you know, he ain't that guy. Maybe he'll step it up, but over the last 20 games or so, I think he only scored 20 points one time. You know, Paul George has been very inconsistent down the stretch. I mean, the old guy ducking other teams. You know, you ducking Portland, you ducking the Lakers. You know, you want to play Dallas. Dallas gave you all they had. You know, you could handle last year before Porzingis got hurt. You know, so I'm pretty sure Dallas wants y'all too. And Dallas feel disrespected. And Dallas, arguably, you know, we'll see how Kawhi performs, but Dallas arguably has the best player in the series in Doncic. So, you know, I think it'll be an intriguing series. I like to see this series. To me, is more about Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks, and are they ready to take the next step? Because I know Luka is a superstar. I know Dallas, you know, if they keep building and putting pieces around Luka, they're gonna be competing for championship in the near future. Where are you now? Are you just a team that's in the playoffs like last year and you're gonna get bumped in the first round, or are you ready to make that next step to the second round and maybe beyond? That's what this playoffs to me is more about, more so than a Clipper team who we can almost expect to fail because that's all they've ever done.
Franchise seems cursed, man. It's crazy. That slumlord owner they used to have.
Oh yeah, he was trash.
Donald Sterling, man, that dude.
Donald Trash Sterling. What a horrible human being.
Yes. Coming back east, I think I'm intrigued to see how Milwaukee made a few changes, hopefully for the better. I mean, they beat the Heat a few times. I think they won the series 2-1 or something like that during the season. I couldn't find it officially. I didn't research too deep. Got in Drew Holiday, PJ Tucker in late. Other role guys like Bobby Portis, Brent Forbes. I mean, do they get Miami this time? I mean, is it because Miami, they pretty much come back with the same team? I know they don't have Crowder and Oladipo's out, but other than that, it's the same team. Hero has been playing as well as he has, but he was last year, but he may step it up now. But I think if Giannis, like he had those post plays, I talked about it in another show. He had some decent post moves against the Nets. They had DeAndre Jordan on him. He just didn't he had enough threes that game, but he had some good footwork, got some good shots down there. So I guess just to give him a different look. I'm just curious to see if that's going to be enough to get them past Miami this time. I know they want to match up. And I know Miami's like, we want to prove it again. I mean, how do y'all see that series playing out?
Well, I think it's going to be a lot closer than it was last year. I expect Milwaukee to win. I mean, I know Miami's clicking on all cylinders going into the playoffs, and they got basically all their guys back. Same team as last year. I just can't see a situation of Milwaukee losing to them again, especially after what happened last year. You had the best record in the league 2 years in a row, and you laid an egg both years. I can't. If Giannis is as great as everybody thinks he is, he can't lose this series. He can't. I can't. Like, he has to put the team on his back and just carry him.
What do you see differently from last year than this year with Milwaukee? Do you think it's just Drew Holiday, or
I think Holiday's a nice fit with them just because, two-way player. He played great D, but he can also, hit shots, get to the lane, finish, all that kind of stuff. So I think, to me, I'd prefer him any day over Bledsoe. I mean, I know Bledsoe's a great defensive player, but, his decision-making and his, lack of shooting, I think was a hindrance. So I think Holiday's a much better fit with that particular Milwaukee team. They move the ball, great 3-point shooting team again, very good defensive team. They have length. I just can't see another situation of Giannis letting that happen, of letting Miami beat him again. I hope Giannis plays great and they beat Miami just for the sake of Giannis. Because he's not going to be a two-time MVP in a row. He won MVP 2 years in a row. You're not going to win it this year, but he still had a great All-NBA season. And then you lose again. You lose again in the first round. You lose in the first round. You lost the second round last year. You lost the third round the year before. I hope that doesn't happen to him because the media is going to kill him. I really do hope that he advances deep into the playoffs and hopefully even make it to the championship just for his sake.
Yeah, I like Giannis. What you got on the James on that series?
It's gonna be another interesting series because Miami, they are a playoff team. They play physical, they play hard, they play tough. But and like y'all saying, this is gonna come down to Giannis. Is he ready to take the next step? Has he? It comes to me. I think it just comes down to IQ with Giannis. He got to play smarter. To have 2 and 3 charges in the game, they're gonna set the wall up. Okay, you're not a really good shooter, but you dominant in a certain area of the floor. Learn how to get to that area of the floor, operate, trust your teammates. You got shooters everywhere. And with the addition of Drew Holiday being a point guard who understands how to control tempo down the stretch at the end of the games, know how to get guys in the right places on offense. I think that's what it's gonna come down to. Can Drew Holiday get Giannis to be in the winning positions when it's time to win basketball games? That means not above the 3-point line and all that, but somewhere around the paint and operate from that area out. If they can do that, then I think Milwaukee will take the next step and they could possibly beat Miami and go all the way to the finals. But if Giannis is still playing the same way that he's been playing in the last 2 playoffs, then I think Miami will beat him again.
I guess the coach get fired.
Yeah, that's what I just about to say. Budenholzer's going to have to figure out something else because they done this wall to him 2 years in a row. You can't let it happen the third year in a row where they build a wall and you don't have any adjustments for it. But somebody of the caliber of Giannis, you got to. I agree with you that Drew Holiday is going to have to be mindful, make sure he gets in the correct positions. But I think Budenholzer, he's going to have to be very strategic with his X's and O's about, how to free up Giannis to get him to, like you were saying, his spots to where he can operate best. I mean, I know he's great in transition and all that, slows down the playoffs. So he's going to really have to look at that half-court offense. Where can I get Giannis to where he's going to be most successful? And And even if he's not necessarily producing as far as making points, can I get some of these other players in foul trouble? Cause some matchup problems too.
But I mean, you're right. But part of that is on Giannis too. He's the player. He has to understand and be real with himself, his strengths and weaknesses. And he has to play to those strengths. So, you know, that's why I say his IQ got to be better. He got to be a smarter player down the stretch. He got to understand, look, I need to be down here. I can kill these guys down here. They can't stop me, instead of still trying to play that perimeter game. I don't believe that Coach Bud is telling Giannis to play at the perimeter. I believe Giannis just wants to do that because he wants to be KD. He wants to be like LeBron and those guys, but he's not those guys. But he's just as great if he just plays his strengths. So, but they signed Giannis to a 5-year contract extension. So yeah, to your point, if this don't work, it's gonna be Coach Bud that's gonna get the hammer.
I do like, again, Holiday being there just because you got another guy who can make shots at the end of the game. In addition, so if Giannis, let's just say, he's not a great shooter like you said, so typically they'll have either Middleton, take those type of shots in crunch time. And now you got another guy in Holiday who's tough too, who we've seen make those shots in the playoffs. So I think that's another huge advantage they had from last year, upgrade over Bledsoe.
Do y'all think Holiday's a little, maybe not over? I guess say a little overrated because it's like he played with Anthony Davis, but they could never really do it. They beat Portland that year, but
Anthony Davis ain't good. I keep
no,
telling
I
y'all.
wouldn't.
I just don't. No, I don't think Holiday's overrated. I just feel like they just weren't necessarily a great fit for each other. I felt like Anthony Davis needed somebody like a LeBron, a ball dominant player who can facilitate, get him in those right positions. Holiday's more of like a combo guard, type player. So I just felt like they weren't necessarily the best fit for each other. But I don't think it had nothing to do with that though.
Well,
No, I mean,
Anthony Davis is not a leader.
well,
And so, yeah, Anthony Davis needs to play with somebody who better than him, like LeBron. And Drew Holiday, I'm not gonna say he's better than Anthony Davis because he's not as talented nowhere near. So they weren't gonna win because Anthony Davis is not a guy who can lead a team to where you need to go. He's a complementary player. So, but Drew Holiday is a good point guard. He's not ever gonna be a Steph Curry or Westbrook or James Harden. Well, he's gonna be the best player on your team, but he don't need to be the best player. He need a guy who's very good, who's great, and let him control the tempo down the stretch. He doesn't make dumb basketball plays. That's what Drew Holiday. He doesn't turn the ball over in crucial situations. He can make shots, and so I think he's a very nice third option when you got Giannis and Chris Middleton. I think Drew Holiday is a huge upgrade from what they had in previous years in Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah, and he's been one of the premier defenders the last 10
Oh
years.
yes, very great.
Yeah,
He,
I mean, I just feel like he's
one of the
underrated.
best perimeter defenders in the league.
Yeah, and I just feel like he's underrated too, just because his game isn't flashy. He's not like Dame and Steph shooting threes 50 feet away and all that type of stuff. He's effective at what he does. I feel like he's maximized his ability. Like James was saying, he doesn't necessarily have the talent of some of those other point guards, but he realizes what he can do, what he can't do, and he plays within himself. He's not going to beat you, basically. He's not going to make it. He's not going to make, like James was saying, a bunch of mental errors and cost the team.
I guess we'll see what he's made of the farther they go, because it's definitely gonna be an uphill battle. I mean, if Philly or the Nets, if they get past this point, we're gonna see what he's made of as he goes into unfamiliar territory, so to speak. Keeping it in the Eastern Conference, we got I guess the surprise team. Definitely, I think all three of us would agree as far as the Knicks. I mean, finishing fourth, led by Julius Randle, playing great defense. Derrick Rose coming off the bench, giving them instant offense. They don't score much, but most times they don't let you score a lot. they got the Hawks, who we thought would be in the playoffs. Finished out well once they got Nate McMillan in and let Lloyd Pierce go. I don't know how this one's going to go. I just feel like I know this is Trae Young's playoff debut. A lot of those guys, but I mean he's the one player who can get real hot, and this the way basketball is played and win you a couple of games. Even the Knicks, and if he gets too hot, the Knicks won't be able to keep up because I don't see nobody. I mean, unless Randall, I mean, producing triple doubles or somebody or Rose just go off, but. I think it's gonna be a pretty good series. Gonna go to length, but I don't know. I guess I have to see how it plays out before I really can predict who I think will win. But I mean, I kind of want to say maybe New York because they're home for the first two, but and they play defense, so. But kind of intrigued by them. Just surprised that the Knicks turned out the way they were. I mean, I know Knicks fans were all over. I was hoping to have a Knicks fan on, but I guess he's not going to be able to make it to hear from him more. But they're going to be a tough out.
Yeah, but they're out.
You got them out first round?
Yeah, I got them out. They had a good season. You know, it's kind of good to see them back. I think in the first round against the Hawks, I believe that the New York Knicks have the best player in the series than Julius Randle. I believe he's the best player. You know, I've been pulling for him all season. He should be top 3 MVP voting in the league. You know, so he should be one of the top 3 guys. He's been that good this year. But the Hawks got the better team, and this is gonna be about Trae Young. It ain't about him scoring. It's about him being able to lead a team. You know, over the last couple weeks or so, last month of the season, he really been more of a facilitator than that scoring point guard. He ain't been just jacking up shots. He been because the team is really good. They got a lot of shooters. DeAndre Hunter is back. John Collins is playing well. Clint Capella is manning everything down low. You know, so the team is really good, and the Hawks play defense as well. So I expect the Hawks to win this series. You know, they just a better team, but I expect the Knicks to put up a fight, and like I said, I expect Julius Randle to put on the show. You know, and show the world that yeah, like you can come to New York, and we got something good going here. You know, going forward. But I definitely like the Hawks because the Hawks, quiet as kept, they're a dark horse in the East because the Hawks got real shooters, and they got them all over the floor, and they play defense, and that's a winning formula in the league. It's about matchups.
So you said it's bad. The matchup is totally in favor for the Hawks. Because if
Oh
we
yeah,
go, we say Trae Young win his matchup. Okay,
well,
Herder, Bogdanovich, Bullock.
New York don't have enough shooters.
Well, they don't take threes, but if they can hold you down, it's really
That's
Bullock.
what I'm saying. They gonna play you tough. You know, they'll play tough. I expect them to win a couple games. But the Hawks got real shooters. That's the difference. You know, the Hawks can really spread you out, and if those shooters get hot, then it's lights out. It's over. Ain't it don't matter what you do. Threes count more than twos.
Simple mathematics. I mean, so you talking about Herder, Trae Young, Bogdanovich, Gallinari.
Right.
I miss Cam
DeAndre
Reddish.
Hunter. Now he out.
He
DeAndre
out.
Hunter. Right. Cam
Yeah.
Reddish, he out. Right.
That's pretty much it, right?
Right. And if Solomon Hill play, he can shoot. I mean, they got shooters.
Oh, it's solid.
I mean,
He can't
play.
though.
He'll bet. He'll bet.
If he can get on the court.
Yeah, I mean,
they play him. I thought he plays. He plays pretty regularly.
He play. And he'll bet. You got to play your bet.
That's what that team was missing mainly from last year.
Right. Just play him about 12 minutes. He don't got to do much. Just enough to let these guys see how it's done.
What you got on that series, Frank?
I think this one's a toss up. Like out of all the series in the first round, I think this one, these teams are most evenly matched. I'm gonna have to go with the Knicks in 7. I think it'll go 7. I think the Knicks will win, mostly because I think the Knicks style of play is more conducive to winning in the playoffs than Atlanta's style of play. They do have much better shooters, but I just feel like their defense is so overwhelming. I think they were number 2 in defensive efficiency this year. I just feel like it's going to be a grinded out series, going to be close, going to be back and forth. I do think Julius Randle is going to emerge and really, just add on to the great season he's had in the regular. I mean, his numbers are just ridiculous. I mean, he's always been a good player. He's always been a good player, but he's just taken a huge step this year. He's in way better shape than he's ever been in. His shooting is much improved, and I just like the way the Knicks play as a team. I mean, the Hawks are my team, but I don't know. I just feel like they might still need another year. They do have more vets than they had before, but are those vets necessarily gonna provide you more leadership? I think that remains to be seen. And I just feel like the Knicks, they have a good mix of young players, good mix of veteran players. I feel like with Tibbs and Nate McMillan, they're pretty much evenly matched as far as their ability to coach. So I think it's kind of even there. I just feel like the Knicks, they just have the way that they play and the way they played all season. To me, is more conducive to them winning in the playoffs. And then as far as Trae Young, as great as he is and as talented as he is, I feel like, he can't get hot and let off 40, 50 in a game, but I feel like he can shoot you out of a game too, make a lot of turnovers that can cost you too. And I think against a team like the Knicks, you just can't really make a lot of mistakes, so they're not going to, really beat themselves. So I got the Knicks in 7. Now, first, and it was Atlanta had game 7 at home, then I'd probably pick Atlanta.
I feel like Randall can shoot you out of a game too, though. His percentage ain't.
Randall is the truth.
But he shooting better from 3, but I just looked at his stats. His field goal
percentage. He's over 40%. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Trae Young has really honed this game and they've done a great job over the last month or so of he's just playing point guard now. He's not turning the ball over. He's not just jacking up shots. He's getting other guys involved, and he's very good at that. Like, he's a very good passer. He getting it to the lane. And Clint Capella, this is why I think is why the Hawks got a slight edge, because Clint Capella has the advantage in the middle. He's really dominating the glass. He's blocking shots all over the place. On the offensive end, when Trae Young break down the defense, you gotta he's just catching lobs all day. Clint Capella is he's the real leader of the team, and he understands how to get them in their defensive sets, how to screen, how to roll. I mean, I just think Clint Capella gives the Hawks an advantage that the Knicks don't have at that 5 position. So Knicks are gonna be forced to shoot a lot of jump shots, and they really not a good jump shooting team. And so that's why I think the Hawks got a slight edge, but it will be a intriguing series, because for both teams and both fan bases, both of these teams have long playoff droughts, and they're now getting back in the playoffs. And one of them is going to go to the second round. One of them is going to take that step now. And so that's going to be the interesting thing about this series. Who's ready to take that next step? Because that can be pivotal when it comes to free agency. A guy like Kawhi might decide the Hawks are a guy like me away. Guys start getting interested once they see, they got some real players down there. This team on the rise, they ready to win. Maybe I'll go down there and play. So it's a big series for the Knicks and the Hawks going forward.
Yeah, because if New York get well, they already don't have all the hype behind them. It's already stories coming out. The free agents, the Knicks are looking to put together a package.
Right.
That overhype, man, for New York is, but good for them. They're as far as the franchise being back in the postseason. Okay. Yeah, everybody gonna celebrate. They're not gonna. The whole city pretty much gonna be focused on them, even though Brooklyn's the better team. But they gotta wait till the Knicks get eliminated before Brooklyn can get attention from New York. That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of Brooklyn, do they give a game or two to Boston, or they sweep them?
They sweep 'em.
Sweep.
Yeah, only way I see Boston win the game, Tatum gonna have to get like 50, 60 points, or Kimba gonna have to get 50, 60, or they're gonna have to both get 40 for them to even win one game to me. But I see a sweep, 5 at the most, gentleman sweep.
Yeah, I see 5 at the most, definitely, if everybody stays healthy and Kyrie Irving stays focused. I mean, you can't.
Hey, look, they can have Kyrie sit down this series and just have Harden compete and see it be the same result.
Well, that's true. Yeah, because Boston don't. They haven't been playing well, and then with Brown being out,
And Marcus Smart, Gimpy,
Yeah.
he hurt.
and Robert Williams got the toe. So it ain't. Yeah, they don't have a shot.
Nah.
Yeah. What about going back west? Denver and Portland, the 3-6 matchup.
That's serious.
They met a couple of years ago because I
That's gonna be a
think
good one. They went 7 a couple years ago.
that's when Portland went to the conference finals, right?
Yep, they beat Denver in game 7. Yep.
Yeah.
Right. This is an interesting series because I believe, because I don't know how healthy the Lakers are. The Lakers are supposed to be the favorite, but I think both of these teams are legit contenders. I think both of these teams, especially Denver can go on the run, but I just wish they didn't have to play Portland first. I would like to see Denver play Clippers first or play Dallas or something like that. But hey, this is the situation they got themselves in, and which is fine.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a beautiful. That's gonna be the series. The best.
This might end up being the best one. This might end up being the best series. I mean, I know I said Clippers and Dallas, but this might end up being the best series out of all of them.
Yeah, I wish Murray was there, man.
Yeah, me too. Because I feel like if Murray was there, I feel like Denver might be the favorite to come out the West if Murray was playing.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if they really miss Murray all too much like that. They so deep. I just think it gave other guys an opportunity. Like Michael Porter Jr. Now he get a chance to rise and shine. Now I don't know if the status of Will Barton, if he's going to be able to return or was it because losing him and Murray, now you start to lose some of your depth. But just losing one of those guys, I think as long as they got Jokic and the rest of the cast, I think they Denver just fine.
What's up with Barton? He got hurt. Well, I think he opted out last year, right?
I think he was injured.
He was injured last
hurt.
year too?
Yeah, he was hurt last year. Yeah.
This dude just get hurt at the most inopportune times.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you expecting Murray to be there, because what they got, I know they picked up Austin Rivers and they got, is Campazzo, is he starting?
Oh yeah, Campazzo. Yeah, I like him.
Campazzo, I like his energy.
Yeah, he's a baller. I mean, he don't have no fear. You don't have no fear. Rookie. He's a rookie, but he's 30 years old.
Yeah, he one of them. Okay.
Right. He know how to play. He's been a professional forever. So, he's really good. I like, but I think he's a backup. I don't think he should be.
Yeah, he's that spark off the bench.
Right.
The second team, get you a few buckets, get you a few layups, get back in the game, and yeah, he'll keep it, he'll keep it close. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just looking. My fault. Barton has a hamstring issue.
Oh, hamstring, man! It's
right.
He been out almost a month now, but I guess you don't know the hamstring. You gotta.
Yeah, you don't know the hamstring because it's so easy to re-aggravate it too.
Right.
It's so easy to re-aggravate it. Yeah, I expect Denver to come out. I think it's gonna be a great series. I expect Denver to win.
Expect Denver, yeah. They definitely win as far as the Jokic matchup. he gonna have to be big. But I guess it's gonna be Porter Jr. Then we gonna see what Aaron Gordon got. He's been to playoffs before, but
Yeah,
I think not to this with this expectation. So
we
Right.
can never count out Dame,
that's
and
true.
the big thing is CJ McCollum. He's had a great year, and he's playing with a sense of urgency. Like he understands that it has to be me and Dame. I have to be just as good as Dame if we're gonna have an opportunity to do this. Melo has stepped this game up. I mean, he's had a very good season. You know, I'm not a Melo fan, but I gotta give credit where credit due. You know, he looked good this year. So, I don't trust Nurkic and all the other guys, but they got some guys who play high level defense. When you talk about Robert Covington and you talk about what's my other guy? My other guy who was in the dunk contest.
Derrick
But he
Jones
out there.
Jr.
Jones Jr. He out there, man. That guy playing some good defense.
But they
So
team defense is terrible, man.
right. But I mean, individually, in the playoffs, it comes down to getting stops at the right time,
Right.
making timely baskets, you know, uh, controlling the game down the stretch if you have a lead, not giving up the runs, those type things. And that's what we're going to find out. I think Denver has the MVP of the league this year in Jokic and the best player in the series. But I just think Dame and CJ, the backcourt, I think they got the better backcourt in this series.
Definitely.
It's gonna be a good one. I think this one could go 7 games.
Yeah, I see this one going. So I just can't see a situation. I mean, I just feel like Jokic is going to pick them guys apart. That's all I see right in that series. I know Portland beat him a couple years ago, but I feel like Denver's a lot better than they were a couple years ago.
Oh,
Portland,
yeah.
I feel like they're on the same level, but yeah,
A lot better.
don't have nothing to do with Yoke. Yoke is just such a matchup nightmare.
Mhm.
And like I say, I think Denver is a championship contender. I think they're that good. I think they can beat anybody. But I think Portland can beat anybody. I think the Lakers can beat anybody. Those are the 3 teams that to me are the favorite. And it just so happened Denver and Portland got to play each other first round. And so somebody got to go home early. But whoever wins is gonna be battle tested.
If as we expect, if I think a lot of people expect Golden State to beat Memphis tomorrow night in that final play-in. Do you see them threatening Utah? You just think y'all think Utah is just too polished, too well oiled to let I guess basically one guy beat them.
Yeah, I don't see go. If they do beat Memphis, I expect them to beat Memphis too. I don't see them beating Utah. I don't see that happening. No. They might
Yeah,
get two just based off the greatness of Steph. I mean, Draymond had a bounce back year, but I feel like they're still missing too many guys. Oubre, Wiseman's gone. They don't have enough to me. In Utah, they're a well-oiled machine. I know Donovan Mitchell got to come back from that injury, but I mean, their 3-point statistics this year are just amazing, like just astounding.
Yeah,
they got real shooters.
They execute well. They don't really make a whole lot of mistakes. Don't turn the ball over a lot. They can play well on the fast break or in the half court. You got Gobert, who's not. I mean, I always thought he was kind of overrated as an individual defender, but as far as a rim protector, he's among the best in the league. So I just feel like with all those things in play, and Conley's fitting into the system a lot better. I expected Utah to be as good as they were last year, but it took Conley a year to kind of get integrated. Can't forget the guy's name. He was hurt last year. Bogdanovich.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he was hurt. So the fact that he's back and Conley's integrated a lot better in the system. I think Utah's gonna have a pretty easy time with the Warriors.
Yeah, first Golden State, they gotta beat Memphis. Can be a tough team.
Yeah.
They big down there. Valanciunas, man,
Valanciunas has played well.
I always like Valanciunas.
Yeah, when I saw it, I think he was averaging 16 and 12 this year. I was like, Valanciunas is low key been killing this year. Like,
right. He just can't
like, okay.
But he had 23 and 23 last night. And if he can play big like that against Golden State, that'll give them problems because Golden State
Yeah.
playing a lot of small ball. Now, Golden State could get Valanciunas off the floor if he's not dominating. So it's gonna be an interesting game. But with that said, I don't think either of those teams beat Utah. I think the Lakers did good by winning yesterday. I mean, being Golden State because I don't think the Lakers want to see Utah. Not in the first round. I'd rather see Phoenix.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
right. I think Utah is legit. Now I don't think they're gonna go to the finals. Because once the Lakers, get the legs back under them and everything like that, get the chemistry, they'll be back rolling. But man, I don't think Golden State or Memphis can legit. I don't think they have a shot against Utah in the first round. Not winning the series, maybe a couple games, but nah.
Yeah, Curry will make it interesting, but I think
Oh yeah,
they'll adjust enough with just. I mean, they just got good defense, like Frank said. I mean, when you got Bogdanovich, Clarkston, Ingles, even the big man, he can hit threes. He like 6'8", light skinned guy. I can't think of his name. Not Favors, but the other one, Niang, he can even shoot.
oh yeah, George Yang, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He all right too. He's solid.
Yeah, man,
They
that
got
3-point shooting. Cool, man. They
got shooters. They got shooters everywhere. Ingles and then Clarkson coming off the bench. He was doing his thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
they legit. They legit.
Clarkson should get strong consideration for sixth man of the year.
Oh,
Oh
he
yeah.
definitely.
Or if not,
Yeah,
or if
just-
not win.
Yeah, they came out with this between him, Ingles, and Derrick Rose. Those are the three finalists. So
He
But
definitely
yeah,
gonna win.
he gonna win it then.
yeah,
He played great last year too. He was inspired, and he just continued it this year. He's
yeah.
got
Big ups to Jordan Clarkson. I mean, he turned it around, and it seemed like he was taking the Nick Young route. I mean, it
Oh, I
didn't go
know.
well in LA, didn't go well in
Right.
Cleveland.
right.
Right. I mean, the lights were too big. Sometimes you got to go where the lights ain't too bright, and that's at Utah.
He played great. He's thriving.
Right. So he's at a good place.
Yeah,
You know,
but I mean, to
it's
his
hard to
consideration
stay in
too.
LA.
Yeah, and
hard to
he was on some bad teams too. Because he was in LA when they was bad, then Cleveland when they was bad, right?
Well, yeah. He was in Cleveland bad.
He on the bad teams.
Right.
He was on there that last year. Cleveland made it to the finals. He was on that team.
Oh, he
Yeah,
was
them
okay.
Them lights were too bright for him too. He stunk it up.
Yeah.
Hard to play with Brian.
It is. Yeah, it should be some intriguing series. We'll see what finalized night looking like. The Wizards are rolling. Indiana can't put the ball. They getting blasted right now. Not blasted, but they getting handled.
They playing good defense and Bradley
Yeah.
Beal and Westbrook doing what they supposed to do. Bradley Beal looking a lot healthier this game.
You know, they get right. They'll get the Sixers. It's
They'll
gonna,
get 76, but which means they'll probably get swept. I give Westbrook one game just because that Westbrook, but
one game.
I give him one game, but they don't got no answer for Embiid.
No ask for Embiid. Then he got shooters now, and Ben Simmons gonna play good defense.
Right.
Dwight Howard gonna goon or try to.
Now,
Yeah, they should whoever they play, they should make quick work of them. They should.
Washington just don't got no depth. That's the problem. Washington got the best player in the series, and they're gonna have two of the top three players in the series. But they don't have no depth to go with them. That's all they got is Bradley Beal and Westbrook. That's
You
it.
saying Westbrook is better than Joel Embiid?
Yeah, Westbrook is better than Joel Embiid. Even though Embiid is probably gonna be number 2 in the MVP vote.
You talking about this year?
No, I'm saying period. I'm saying career. Like, yeah, Embiid number 2 this year for MVP to me. He probably been the second best or the best player. He up there to me, number 1, number 2. But what has Embiid done in his career? He been hurt. He gets sick I'm just hoping Embiid don't get the stomach virus this year, man.
Nah,
That's
right,
what
but you
that's what
but
I hope,
you
man.
gotta, but Embiid played well last year before they got what even though they got swept. I mean, he played
Yeah,
well
he
against
got,
Boston.
and then he caught the stomach virus, and then they end up losing. It's the same story every year. So let's see if Embiid can get his stomach issues correct, and let's see what he can do before I start putting him over all-time greats, saying
Oh
he
no,
better. No, you got to earn your right to be better than Westbrook, Steph, KD, LeBron. You can't just be.
Well, no, I mean, yeah. Well,
He had
career-wise, yeah, of
he had
course.
a good season. He had a good season, so now he better than no. These guys have great seasons. They put up all time to all NBA. They multiple time all-stars. They do the playoff thing every year. So I need to see Embiid perform in the playoffs before I start putting him over, all the other guys who
Well,
already.
this year he's better than Westbrook.
he's
Oh
better.
yeah, I said he was my number one, number two MVP guy. I'm not disagreeing with that.
I was just confused because you said they got the top three in the city.
Right. Westbrook is better than Embiid. I mean, that's like saying if Golden State was playing 76ers, that's like me saying Embiid is better than Curry. No, Curry is better than Embiid. Even though he's had a better year than Curry, arguably, and if they got a better team than Golden State, Embiid is not better than Steph Curry. That's just I'm not finna go there because he had one good year that he's better than the guy who's all-time great. No, I'm not gonna do that. So unless Embiid prove to me, get to the conference finals, get to the finals, dominate, do something that I see the great players do, then I can start putting him ahead of those guys. But right now, he just had a better year than those guys. But he's not better than those guys. No, not in
He's
the.
gonna be the best player in the series
That's like Steve Nash.
currently.
Like Steve Nash won the MVP, but he wasn't better than Shaq. He wasn't better than Kobe. But he had a better year.
I think.
I mean, but even if you just compare Embiid to any other team they play, I mean, aside from maybe Kevin Durant, he's probably going to be the best player in any of those series. I would argue, in the East at least.
If they
And the best player definitely his position.
It depends on who they play. Like I said, the East is not a slouch. If he play Washington, you got Westbrook. Or you play Brooklyn, you got three guys on Brooklyn who better than Embiid. You got Kyrie, James, and KD. All of them better than.
Nah, Kyrie is not seeing Embiid, man. Nah. Harden, yeah, maybe. Kyrie, no.
No. I mean, I'm not a Kyrie fan, but
No.
The man is
Embiid is arguably the best defensive player in the entire NBA, and he averages per game.
He's up there. He's up there with Giannis and AD.
He gonna make first team all defense this year, and first team all NBA.
He should. This is not a slouch on Embiid, but Embiid hasn't done anything. These guys have won championships. These guys are multiple time All-Star. They've done it in the playoffs. Embiid is not better than Giannis. So, I mean, it's a lot of guys in the East who Embiid has not surpassed yet. And that's what this season is, this playoff run is about for Philly. Not only is it time for Philly to go to the next level and win a championship, which they've got a very good team, so they should, but is Embiid ready to go to that next level? Where do you want to rank him when we start talking about centers all time? He's got to start getting his name somewhere in the hat, because right now his name ain't in the hat because he hasn't produced anything. He got me 0. I haven't got anything out of Embiid in the playoffs yet.
Well, he might not be, because this not his era, so he might not really ever get the credit.
This is his era.
No, it's not. It's a point guard. It's a point guard era.
Well, that's the problem, because great players make it their era. LeBron made it his era. Steph made it his era because they great. So, and they winning. So if Embiid wanted to be his era, he has to produce in the playoffs when the lights are the brightest and win and make it his era. That's how you get it to be your era. Tim Duncan made it his era.
Right, he might just be a Charles Barkley or somebody like that, a Karl Malone.
Okay, then
I don't necessarily think Giannis is better than Embiid. I mean, I would say that they're tied for me.
Well,
Just
I don't
based
think
on Embiid's a much better shooter. He's a way better free throw shooter. And he has way better post moves. And I think on defense, they're equal on defense. So I would say they're tied to me. I don't think Giannis is.
I think we might be talking talent, but Giannis is a back-to-back MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. What has Embiid done? I don't know
Well, you can't.
how he got. How has he got everybody food and he ain't produced anything yet?
Right, but Embiid was about to be. He was on
I'm talking about right now,
but he got hurt. He was on course.
I'm saying he get hurt every year though.
Well, maybe just that he's just that player. I mean,
he get hurt every. Okay.
Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill.
Then Greg Oden. Then Greg Oden got hurt. I can't count Greg Oden. He got hurt. If he did get hurt, he might have been an all-time great player. But he got hurt. That ain't.
Well, Embiid he not getting hurt like Oden got hurt. Now that's Embiid, extreme.
No, Embiid getting hurt. How many times he's been out with a leg injury, with a back injury? He went out with earlier this year. He had a leg injury. He had to sit down for a few weeks. Every year in the playoff, he got a stomach flu or the stomach virus or some happened. He ate something bad. So I'm just saying, can we just let Embiid win, dominate one playoff series, maybe two, and then we can go ahead and give him all the do we want. But right now, all we can say for Embiid is he had a great year. Whoop de do. Okay.
All I'm saying is I just think right now at this current moment in time, if we just stick in, let's just say they play Washington,
right,
he's better than both Bill and Russell Westbrook at this current juncture in time. He's better than both of them guys. He has impact on the game than both of them guys. Now, if you want to argue Ben Simmons with the other two, then that's arguable. But Embiid's clearly the best player, at least right now, out of those three guys.
I think he had
on both ends of the court.
And I would say that I think he's had the best season, even though Bradley Beal was second in the league in scoring and Westbrook averaged a triple-double. I would give Embiid had the best season, but I can't say that he better than Westbrook. Westbrook all-time player.
You just got a Westbrook bias.
No, I mean I can't. I mean, like I said, I can't say that he better than Giannis. I can't say that he better than KD. I can't say he better than James. I can't say he better than Kyrie. I can't say he better than any other guys. Though all those guys have got resumes, and they still producing at a high level. They not falling off yet. So Embiid is trying to emerge past those guys. He's trying to prove that he's better than those guys, but he has not done that yet because the proof has to be in the pudding, and he hasn't produced it. So yeah.
But even like with just with this season, Philly had that number one spot the entire season, even over Brooklyn with all the talent they got. Okay. Pretty much held that. So a lot of it has to do with Embiid.
All right.
Okay, Bradley Beal was second in scoring. Westbrook had all triple doubles, average triple double. They were hovering 9, 10. At one point they were in 12, pretty much all season. So I'm just saying on the impact on winning, that's kind of like what I'm going off of too. How much does it winning?
Donovan Mitchell led his team to the best record in the league. All right, that's great. Whoop-de-doo. Donovan Mitchell is not better than Steph. He's not better than Dame. He's not better than LeBron. He's not better than AD. He's not better than Kawhi. He had a great season. I give it to him. Great. You got them. Prove it to me in the playoffs. Get Utah Jazz to the finals. Knock off the Lakers. Knock off Denver. Knock off and then I can start saying, okay, you know what? Donovan Mitchell, he might be better than Dame. He might be better than AD. He might be better than. But you got to do it. You can't just have a great season, then I'll be like, okay, he better than these guys. No, you got to do it when it counts in the playoffs. And Donovan Mitchell has not done it yet. So unless you produce when it counts, I can't start putting you ahead of guys who are all-time greats, guys who have gotten it done, and continue to get it done. I can't put them over those guys. But, you're a great player. You're moving up the ranks. But you move up the ranks by winning in the playoffs and dominating in the playoffs. Your numbers got to go up in the playoffs. This is how you move to the next level. So we'll see what Donovan Mitchell and what Embiid, we'll see what they do. This is the time.
It is. Who you got for MVP, Frank?
I think Jokic gonna win. I mean, kind of by default because pretty much everybody else got hurt. So I think the fact that he's been able to play the whole season and have those incredible numbers. Denver's number 3 seed. Murray went down and they still played great. I got Jokic. But again, LeBron didn't get hurt. James Harden didn't get hurt. All those other players didn't get hurt. Then it's one of them guys would have won. But I think by default this year he was able to play. I think pretty much all but one game. I'm having to go with Jokic.
Yeah, and B was right there too. I mean,
Yeah, he was right there too, but he got hurt.
I can't. Yeah, I really can't go against Jokic, but my vote would go to Chris Paul, man. I know you don't. Everybody want to look at the numbers and say Phoenix had an 8-0 bubble run when nobody in the bubble was really worried about them. And not that anybody's worried about them so much now, but when they got Chris Paul, we knew they were going to be in the playoffs because of what he had done with Houston.
Right.
And especially with what he did with Oklahoma last year.
Right.
And then now to get, not just get them in the playoffs, but a number 2 seed. I mean, that reeks MVP all over it to me, but it always comes down to some offensive stat that it just kind of like, and trust me, I hear you, Jokic. I mean, I looked at his numbers. I mean, outstanding. Then Murray going down, keeping the ship afloat. But I mean, I just felt like, and I'm not even a big Chris Paul fan, but I'm just like, nobody expected that, man. That's what, maybe if there was a player of the year thing, I mean, you could get that one. It'd be separate from MVP if they brought another award. But I'm just like, man, he did something nobody expected. Great that the coach, Monty Williams, got coach of the year, but
yeah, see, that'd be my only argument against Chris Paul. I think Monty Williams had a lot to do with them, him forming the culture and his expertise. I mean, combined with Chris Paul, because I think if it was some other coach they had before and they had Chris Paul, yeah, I think they would have made the playoffs, but I don't think they would have had an incredible season, like how they had, pretty much number 1, 2 seed all year. I mean, I do have Chris Paul in my top 3. I just feel like I think Monty Williams has a lot to do with, the culture change and the winning as well. But I mean, I'm not taking nothing away from Chris Paul. I mean, his leadership, he's been able to play a majority of the season and, his just effect on the other players. But I'm always kind of hesitant too when, you have another player like Devin Booker, like really who's the best player on the team really. So, and that's another thing I think this kind of goes against Chris Paul. Like the Nuggets is clearly Jokic.
I mean, yeah, with them losing Murray, but then people were screaming for James Harden. I'm like, hey, you got Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. I mean, I know Durant was out for a while. Usually you lose some credit, some points for having another superstar beside you sometimes. And
I think James Harden name only crept in because a lot of guys started getting hurt and he was playing so well, And KD and Kyrie weren't really playing. It was just really James doing work up in Brooklyn. And every now and again, one of those guys would play and he was working. Then he got hurt. So that kind of, closed all that. But I don't think he ever was a serious.
Nah, yeah. I don't think so either, especially with the stuff happening in Houston.
Right.
They're going to count that against him.
Right. I definitely think Jokic. And then I probably would, go Embiid 2. And I would go Julius Randle because I just think what he was able to do this season with the Knicks and just individually was great. And then I'll go probably Steph, Westbrook, and then I'll go Chris Paul. Because I just think Phoenix had a good team.
They were bad last year, man.
Hold on.
They were terrible.
They were the only undefeated team in the bubble.
Oh Lord.
That's facts. They was on the rise. They were the only undefeated team in the bubble, and they got better in the offseason. They added pieces in the offseason, and they got a really good team. Like, I like all their pieces. The thing about them, they just got to play the Lakers first. They just not a proven commodity. But I think Chris Paul helped elevate them to the number 2. Now, without Chris Paul, I don't think they'll be a number 2 seed.
No.
No.
I think
No.
Chris Paul definitely, but I don't want to get an MVP to a guy because he just had great leadership skills. And that's what Chris Paul has. He has great leadership skills. He led those guys where they need to go. And he had decent numbers. I want to give an MVP to a guy who not only had leadership skills, was winning, but had it. He put up the numbers too. He was extraordinary. Like it was like you were in awe. I'm not in awe when I watch Chris Paul play. Like I like it. I'm like, cause I'm a fan. I'm like, he's a smart player. Watch how he set him up. Watch how he control tempo. I like all that. But man, ain't nothing like watching Steph, watching Russ, watching, you know, what Jokic was doing. I mean, how Embiid dominate. I mean, the old guys entertained as well every night. They put on shows every night. Julius Randle, 40-point triple doubles. I mean, these guys are putting on shows on a consistent basis. And Chris Paul not putting on the show. You know, he's a leader. And he should win, you know, the most valuable leader award. I would get that to Chris Paul in the heartbeat quick. But most valuable player, I don't even think he's the best player on this team. So I don't want to get him the best, most valuable player, you know, but he's the leader of his team.
So you wait, looking back, thinking back, Tim Duncan wasn't, people said he was born. I mean, maybe basketball purists, people who enjoy the game, but he got 2 MVPs. I
Right, he
mean,
deserved him. He was the best player
right.
in the league. Right, he
But then
deserved
you,
those.
but then you
But
look at Kobe,
he was dominant.
then they say
Duncan was
Kobe only got one, maybe
Kobe,
another year.
Tim Duncan was better than Kobe.
No, I ain't even saying comparing them even out.
Oh,
I couldn't even tell you the years they were up against each other, but
right.
I'm pretty sure a good amount of them. But Kobe was obviously disqualified because of Shaq to an extent. But for him to only have one MVP,
I
I know he
agree.
got some trouble, but
Because Steve Nash took him.
Yeah.
Tim
no, but Steve,
Tim Duncan could have had more. He dominated.
but it
Yeah.
was, I mean, you had Garnett in there, you had Dirk
All
pull
right,
out one.
one of them better than Duncan.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying better, but you get
Right.
voter fatigue, you get
But you know,
when
sometimes they give guys lifetime achievement, you know, MVPs and that type of thing. You
who do you
know,
feel like got a lifetime achievement one? I don't really know of nobody who really
Karl Malone, Charles Barkley,
in 90,
Jordan,
no, in Barkley in
Jordan should have won.
93,
Jordan should have won in '93.
they did have a better record. See, they went by record.
Right, I'm going out who the best player in the league.
But you can't do that every year because then, I mean,
Right, and that's the problem. Right,
Karl Malone,
that's what I'm
99,
saying.
he beat out, I saw he beat out Zoe. Okay, I can see that in the
That's what I'm
short
saying.
season.
So what they do, since they can't give it to the best player in the league every year, because obviously Jordan and LeBron will have too many freaking MVPs. What they do, they try to find a way to get to another guy who's had some sort of lifetime accomplishment, unless you just do something where Derrick Rose did. You know, Derrick Rose just had you was like, what, like he popped off the screen every night. You
Right.
know, Allen Iverson, you know, popped off the screen every night. But other than that, it's gonna be a guy who's been putting up consistent numbers over some years, and he had a good year that year. His team won that year. You know, the year that Dirk won, you know, his team was like a number one
And
seed.
number one seed.
Right, he put up great numbers, and he had been a consistent all-star prior. You know, it wasn't like he was just a new guy who he had been deserving players for years before that. So it was like, okay, he's finally in his time. So, you know, that's just how it go. Look at Utah, right? Utah got the best record in the league. Nobody's mentioning Donovan Mitchell for the MVP.
Right. He didn't, I mean, nothing really popped out or nothing. He
He
kind of
had
had the
great numbers.
expectations.
He had great numbers.
I mean,
He ain't playing. He's not playing with another dominant superstar. Gobert probably his second best player. He's a defensive guy. Why his name should be mentioned based on, but
record, that
it's
crop,
not.
but it,
But
that
it's
crop.
not based on that, right? It's
Right.
based on
Well, the criteria really isn't clear
Right.
every year because sometimes you have
Right.
storylines, sometimes you have record. Sometimes you have
because
like
nobody believed Donovan Mitchell is better than Jokic, Embiid, Steph. Don't nobody believe he better than these guys. Chris Paul, that's why he can't win. He didn't have a
right
great
now. He
season.
gonna be mad you have to build the resume. I mean, if they do it again.
That's what I'm saying. He hasn't built the resume. Now if they do it again. Now they'll say, "Oh, you know what? Donovan Mitchell been keeping. Boom, he should win an MVP." But he ain't got the resume built up yet. So sometimes it's just a resume award. You got to build because they can't give it to the best player every year.
Because you know when they changed it after Kareem won, they had like a 42 and 40 and 42 record one year.
Right.
I heard that. I mean, so because players used to vote on it, so
right.
I mean, but then
the players know who the best player in the league is.
They do, but then you can't. I think you just have to have a balance, like Rob Parker and Chris Broussard always say, because players, but they might be too subjective. Media could be too subjective too. I mean, there's no perfect formula, but we need some objectivity in there too. Because then players stop taking it seriously. Well, they wasn't even voting for LeBron and KD. Some of those votes that came out like, what are y'all doing? Are y'all hating? Are y'all just being comical? Are you taking this seriously?
Right.
So it's yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess the last thing I want to get to, what do you think about the next set of guys set to go into the Hall of Fame? You agree with all the selections?
Man, I'm okay with whoever goes to the Basketball Hall of Fame. Everybody get in. So whoever I'm okay with it.
You'll be good with Robert Horry getting in?
I'm gonna be great with Robert Horry getting in. I don't care who gets Basketball Hall of Fame. Anybody who has a name, if you know who they are, they go to the Basketball Hall of Fame. There's no criteria, You just have to have a recognizable name in basketball, and you'll go to the Basketball Hall of Fame. So I don't care who goes to the Basketball Hall of Fame. As long as I know who they are, then they deserve to go. That's the criteria.
I think it's some of the criteria set and some of it bends. I mean, like Weber, he only got 5 All-Star appearances in the Rookie of the Year, but he was a really good power forward. I wasn't big on him getting in. I was big on Ben Wallace getting in. I'm glad he did, but people were like, well, he didn't score enough, but 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. As far as Horry, big shots in championship games, but people like, well, role players shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. So, and he got 7.
I disagree. He had all the big shots. Look.
Yeah, I mean, he stopped Detroit from repeating.
It's not the NBA Hall of Fame.
Right.
It's the Basketball Hall of Fame. It goes over the entirety of your basketball career, from high school, college. If you did something great in the AAU, if you did anything, any of your basketball players up to the league, So some guys had great, Chris Webber with that Fab 5, what he did, the impact they had on the culture of just outside of basketball, and then to go to the league and he played big. He got Sacramento to the highest they done been. They ain't make it over the hump, but they was up there. They were competing. In my opinion, in order to be a Hall of Famer, you should be an all-time great. It shouldn't even be no argument over whether or not you should be a Hall of Fame. So, in my opinion, if it was my Hall of Fame, Chris Webber would not go to my Hall of Fame. Tracy McGrady and some of these guys would not be in my Hall of Fame. I only want to have the all-time. This Hall of Fame is reserved for people like Michael Jordan, Bron, Steph, Kareem, the greats, the legends. But if they letting everybody in, then hell, everybody. But I mean, think about like Joe Johnson got to go to the Hall of Fame.
No.
All right, see.
How many All-Star appearances he got?
Now it starts to get.
How many All-Star appearances he got?
He has at least 5.
Oh, because you're saying because of Weber.
I'm saying because he got more points than T-Mac.
But T-Mac got 7 All-Star appearances.
I see. He got more playoff wins than T-Mac.
Well,
See, all this stuff count to me. T-Mac wasn't just better. He was more talented than Joe Johnson, but he wasn't necessarily a better basketball player than Joe Johnson to me. So they both right there. And then you look at the numbers, you're like, damn, Joe Johnson numbers comparable to Tracy McGrady. Some areas they better. So now it becomes, who do I like? Who I don't like? You know what I'm saying? So neither one of them will be in my basketball Hall of Fame. But if Tracy McGrady is gonna go to the Hall of Fame, then Joe Johnson should go to the Hall of Fame.
but T-Mac, his trajectory before he got hurt, man, was pretty. He was on a pretty nice. And then who knows if Grant Hill would have never got injured, and then they get Duncan. I mean, a lot of ifs, but
Grant Hill made the Hall of Fame.
Right, he made it, but I think mainly because of college and maybe his perseverance.
I love Grant Hill, but he's not a Hall of Fame basketball player. He did not have a Hall of Fame basketball career.
I don't know, man. Grant Hill was nice, man.
I see. That's what we.
But
like I said,
Penny's not a Hall of Famer.
I'm saying we go to who we like and who we don't like.
But I'm saying even Grant Hill, but even at Duke, he got 2 championships, 3 Final Fours.
See, that's what I'm saying. Okay, I'm cool with him being in the back, like John Concast, Christian Laettner, the big dog Glenn Robinson. They all belong in the college basketball Hall of Fame. They some of the best college basketball players I ever seen, but they ain't got nothing to do with the league.
Right, but
Grant Hill did not.
Few years, you telling me the first few years, Grant Hill was. He came out the gate, man. He came out the gate.
They were bumped in the first round.
Right, he had a bad team. He rolled his ankle, but I mean, I'm talking about the whole season.
Okay, so now I gotta give a guy Hall. Okay, like my point, Joe Johnson need to go. Mike Bibby deserved to go to the Hall of Fame. They had better careers than Grant Hill. That's all I'm saying. It's just facts. I know who you like. If you can take your bias about who you like out of it and go strictly based on the facts of what happened on the court, then I take my feelings out of it. I like Grant Hill.
Right, I take Robert.
Nice guy.
Take Robert Horry. I wasn't even a Robert Horry fan. I mean,
I'll take Robert Horry too.
But I'm like, okay, man, you hit some of the biggest shots.
Right.
You were a huge contributor to championships.
Right.
So I mean, but some of the other players I see you saying, I mean, I would have to think about who's like coming up. Like you said, I guess Joe Johnson would be up. He would have to be up. Who's somebody else recently retired? Like,
I don't know. It shouldn't even matter.
But I'm saying, I mean, they got to come up on the ballot. Like Chris Webber was on the ballot for a while.
Right, because these people are popular. Chris Webber is a popular player. Joe Johnson isn't a popular player. But if I go look at the numbers and I go look at the resume of what they actually did, you're gonna be like, damn, if I just took out their name and said player A did this, player B did this, player C did this, you're gonna be like, well, hell, player B should go to the Hall of Fame, and they're gonna unmask it. It's gonna be Joe Johnson. And then folks gonna be like, nah, who is A? A gonna be Chris Webber, and C gonna be Tracy McGrady. And then you're gonna be like, damn, because you just know those guys more. They more popular. They on TV. They got more fame. But if we take that out of it and just go basketball purists, what did they do on the court? What did they produce in the playoffs? What are their numbers on the regular season? You're gonna be like, damn, this guy's a Hall of Famer. If those guys are Hall of Famers, Robert Horry is a true Hall of Famer to me. He'll be in my Hall of Fame.
What about Rose?
Who?
Derrick Rose.
I mean, he gonna go to the Hall of Fame.
No, in your Hall of Fame.
No, Derrick Rose doesn't go in my Hall of Fame.
With an MVP, Rookie of the Year.
No, that's all he did.
He got
hurt. Okay, so that count. Like, longevity is a talent. Like, to be able to play for 15, 18,
that's a blessing.
Now,
that's a blessing. That's a blessing.
Man, it is because like,
you don't know.
Well, you don't know if a guy gonna be 7 feet either. But hell,
you don't know if he's gonna be what?
7 feet. You know,
oh yeah,
right. So it don't. for a guy to be able to play for 15 years, 20 years, and be great for the bulk of those years, man, I gotta take that first because my best ability is availability. I need you to be there. So if you can be there and perform on a high level for 15, 20 years, then I gotta take you over everybody else. I can't take a guy who only gonna be great for me for 2 years, for 3 years.
Derek Fisher versus Joe Johnson. Who you putting in?
It ain't even close. Joe Johnson a better basketball player than Derek Fisher is.
Derek Fisher hit some big shots.
It ain't even close.
Champion.
It ain't even close. No, Joe Johnson just better than Derek Fisher. Basketball player. He's 6'8" with the handles and the shot. Like,
he is, but he never been to a
no.
conference finals.
Well, he ain't played with Kobe and Shaq either. So
he didn't.
all right, so that's yeah. I mean, no, I'm not even. I don't even compare players like that. Like, no, that's not even a comparison. To
Vince
me.
Carter. He coming up.
He got to be in the Hall of Fame. He the best dunker ever. If I can say
I
that
agree
you
with you.
did,
I agree with you.
if I can say you did anything the best, better than anybody else to play a game that this skill requires, then you got to be in the Hall of Fame. He's the greatest dunker ever. Simple. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he'll get in. I mean, he obviously got the all. He'll get in easily.
Right.
He should be first ballot.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, since there's no criteria, it's an interesting debate.
He got a name. I know Vince Carter. He needs to be in the Hall of Fame. That's all to it. As long as I know him.
Yeah. But yeah, okay, yeah. So it's always going to be debated. The Hall of Fame. I mean, I mean, if you get there, even if I don't like the fact you got there, hey, out of all the players who've come through the NBA, you're in the Hall of Fame. That's an achievement because I mean, only I probably know who Cliff Levingston is and Will Purdue, but they got no chance.
It's hard. It's hard not to make the basketball Hall of Fame. All you gotta do is get a little bit of fame. That's all.
Well, yeah, because Mitch Richmond. I mean, you pretty much use. I mean, if you lead a team, I don't think necessarily right, but if you score enough points and get enough All-Star appearances, you're in the Hall of Fame. I don't really like that for everybody.
You gotta play. You gotta be in the playoffs, and folk know you. You know.
Hey, guys, I'm sorry, I gotta go.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we're about to wrap anyway. That's cool. All right. Glad you didn't get into this little Hall of Fame stuff, but that's cool. Appreciate you coming on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Yeah. But y'all stay safe and until next time.
All right, Frank, take it easy, man. Appreciate you.
All right, Frank. I'll let you, Frank.
All right. Y'all be safe.
You too, man.
All right.
And that's gonna do us, James. Appreciate you for coming on, man.
All right. Good talking to you, man.
Yeah, same here, man. We're gonna have to catch back up as this thing progresses.
All right. Still Washington can hold his 20-point lead.
Man, this is over. This is over.
We'll see, man. With the 3-point ball, man, 20-point lead ain't nothing.
Man, Indiana, they had their game of the century last game. They went through that 2 games in a row. Yeah. It's over. I'm saying I was wrong about Washington. I had them not making the playoffs since initially I thought they would get in. And then when they started so bad, I was like, they ain't gonna make it, but good for them.
Right. Well, that's what's up, man.
All right, man. Take it easy.
All right. Yeah.
Once again, we'd like to thank James and Frank for coming on and Ian coming on to the All Basketball Podcast for this 2021 playoff preview. You can find this show on all your streaming networks. Just search All Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Maurice Dixon. Thank you for listening. And until next time, peace and be blessed in the name of Jesus.